Hello and welcome back to the #1 survival guide of the Cylinder. And today we shall venture back into the sweltering deserts of the West to explore the winding canyons of Madman's Creek. After hours of walking in the dunes, you finally made it to the creek. After a while of taking in the bird songs, you saw something laying in the sand further down the bank. It was a madman's tortoise. Madman's tortoises are actually the largest fully herbivorous creatures native to the canyons, and their diet surprisingly consists of mainly native aquatic grass species, which is considerably interesting as most tortoises are not semi-aquatic. However, this species is, and spends most of its time eating aquatic grass. You went a bit further down the stream and found yourself in a much more wooded area of the Madman's Creek microclimate. You then began to search the trees for potential bird eggs or fruit to eat, but instead you found a strange animal. It was an arboreal mini-sloth. Mini-sloths are, mini arboreal sloths that are much more closely related to the giant sloths of the far north and wildland, rather than their much more wild cousins of the south, their sort of moss carpet cousins. Mini sloths are also omnivores and eat a variety of different native berries, as well as bird eggs, lizard eggs, and even ants. You continued walking until eventually you found yourself in a much wider area of the canyon. You were about to continue walking until you heard the sounds of faint gravel falling above you. It was a gecko drake climbing on the cliffs above you. Despite the gecko drake sharing many similarities with geckos, they are in fact actually a flightless species of dragon. These dragons are also very much cliff dwellers, and use their gecko-like toe pads to grip onto the smooth canyon walls of the Madman's Creek. They are also about the same size as a caiman, and could potentially kill a human if they do so wish. We eventually came to a very tight part of the canyon, and eventually decided to walk through. But before you did, you began to hear the sounds of bug wings above you. It was a cactus beetle. The cactus beetle is a large omnivorous beetle that uses its bioluminescent large horns on its head to attract insects at night that it will then eat. Cactus beetles also build their nests in cactuses, hence the name, and use their horns and large mandibles to dig out huge burrows inside. They are also important pollinators for things like cactus flowers and agaves. You continue walking for quite a while, and eventually, before you even knew it, the sun began to go down. And as you looked out into the sunset, you began to hear the sound of faraway wolves howling in the distance. They were in fact fox wolves howling in the distance. Fox wolves are a pack-hunting species of wolf, about the same size as a fox, that live in community groups of up to 15 to 16 individuals. They live in the canyons during the day, usually in some kind of shallow cave, and at night come out to scavenge in the desert. Some nearby settlements have even actually been able to relatively domesticate these creatures, which is great for them, as these creatures make great hunting buddies, as they can smell corpses from miles away in the desert. Suddenly, a dust storm began to strike. As you scrambled around for potential shelter, You saw a small dragon clinging onto the reeds for dear life. It was an emerald-winged dragon. Emerald-winged dragons are a species of dragon in the genus Western dragon, and they are very closely related to the red-bone dragon of the sandstone cliffs. However, the specific species took a page out of the crocodilian's book and became a specialized semi-aquatic fish hunter. Although actually they share more similarities with amphibians, as in the first stage of their life they are actually entirely aquatic, whereas the final stage of their life they are semi-aquatic. Finally, you managed to find shelter from the storm, and even managed to create a fire. But something was off. There are bones in this cave. Human bones. You were not alone. You, unfortunately, had stumbled into the cave of a madman's hellhound. Madman's hellhounds use their large excavator-like claws to dig through the sandstone cliffs of the canyons, which they then build their nests in. One that you stumbled across. Hellhounds are also known for the ability to set their entire body on fire, using fire magic and thick layers of flammable oil on their skin, similar to dragons. They usually use these flames as a defense mechanism, but they can use it to attack their prey. They also don't have that much hair, but they do have thick, wiry spines all over their body, similar to porcupines. And one of their favorite foods just so happens to be human travelers. And, unfortunately for you, it did in fact eat you alive. And that now brings us to the end of this chapter of the Survival Guide.